Time management mastery. So, how can you get half your time back and all your sanity with how you're managing all that you got to do? So, in these lives, I give real Halloween clock, give real live consulting takeaways where people hire me for their business and their teams on how to free up a ton of time and mental energy with how they're running it. And not only do I want to give free takeaways for you so that you're learning, but this live is also for your ability to ask us anything so that you can have free access to comment regarding any questions. And we're happy to answer while this is going on, or we can do it in future videos. On this particular live, we're going to focus on the weekly check-in. While the weekly check-in matters, whether if it's with you or your team or whatever relationships that you're in, so that you can stay in sync. And what it does, it helps you save a lot of time, a lot of mental energy in the relationship, lets you work autonomously, stops the micromanagement, lets you be free of the details if you want to be away a lot more. And so not only does it help you stay in sync, but it helps the team stay in sync. And so when you do a weekly check-in, the amount of time and energy and sanity that it saves for you and the team, and to everyone literally be on the same page and to drive things forward, is just huge. So I'm actually going to open up a really simple template that teams use when they do decide to actually check in. And what I've noticed in the best practice when teams are checking in, it's normally the very first part of the week. So when teams are running their KPIs and their weekly check-in and other things like that, it's normally Monday, because they've had the whole prior week for things to catch up on. They've been able to get current, and then all of a sudden, all the weekly numbers and stats are in, and you can come in Monday, all get clear on the same page and have it be together. And I don't know about you, but I'm just not a fan of meetings at all. And whatever we can do to eliminate meetings and meetings about meetings, that's the intention of a weekly check-in. And if you can keep them very succinct and to the point and where the value is, that is powerful as well. So I'm going to share the template screen and walk through this. And subscribe and follow. And if any of you want any of the templates, they're super easy. I'm happy to copy them and send them over. Just drop a follow and DM. So on this particular one, the first part we go through is in the celebrations and the wins. And this is psychology 101 when it comes to driving things forward. You ever have it to where you notice, even if you got 90% of your shit done, how you just focus on the 10% that you haven't had done? It's this weird psychological phenomenon, especially in people who are success oriented, who have success mindsets, who are growing. You're growing your business, you're growing your team, you're growing your life, you're growing your job. How often are we simply focusing on the things that aren't working, right? And when you go to choose to focus on the celebrations and wins first, there's a lot of momentum. There's a lot of things. And it's nice to see and feel not only what I'm doing to focus on that, but it's nice to see that what other team members, what are they celebrating? What are they focusing on? Like, what did they get done? And it's not just from a part of getting things done. So for example, it's also like honoring the teammates that were there. So for example, in one team, it wasn't just what this person got done. One of the celebrations was, hey, I'd really love to acknowledge Shannon, because Shannon was a huge part on me getting this project done. She knew who to connect me with. She supported me in it. She helped me get these certain documents and these details and connecting with this person. Otherwise, I never would have got this done. So when it comes to your celebrations and wins, it's not just doing what you need to get done. It's taking the time to acknowledge each other on getting things done, how they helped you, what they were up against, how they helped you in the whole thing together. What up, Shizo? Just let me know your question and I'll happy to bring you on. So if you got a question there, Shizo, drop it in the comments and I'll see if you want to go on. So feel free to drop any of your questions in the comments at any given time. I will answer them if I have the answer or to direct you to the right people. So in summary, your celebrations and wins and the acknowledgments of each other people on what's actually happening there. Now I'm going to go into number 2, which is the KPIs review. Well, it is insane how many companies and businesses don't have KPIs. And what is KPI? It's simply a key performance indicator on how you are doing. Like, let's dumb this down. Imagine you're trying to go lose weight. One of your KPIs is your weight. One of your KPIs is your, like when you go to a doctor, one of your KPIs is your blood pressure. Like you need to measure that. Like what's your heart rate? What are the things that matter to know if your business and your time freedom is healthy or not? A great KPI that I barely see anyone measure in their company or their business or their life, that is the intention of time management. How many hours did you work last week? And how many free hours did you have per week? How do you feel about your time freedom right now on a scale from 1 to 10, right? It's no different than what was the revenue, how many views did I get on TikTok in the marketing? How many sales did we get down this avenue? It is so simple to add those things in. And I want to stress this a lot. This isn't just about your financials. Think about the things that matter. So when I support people in going to integrate time management so that they free up a ton of their time, I measure that on a scale from 1 to 10. I have them measure it to hold me accountable. How's your free time? How's your time savings compared to what we just started? Like, are you going from a 70-hour work week to a 60, to a 50, to a 40, to a 30? How is your time off? And more importantly, what are your emotional KPIs between you and the team, right? So many people are overwhelmed in how they're keeping track and manage it all. That's the same thing I hear over and over and over and over and over again. And the source of the overwhelm, 90% is normally a lack of a time management system. So how do you feel on a scale from 1 to 10? How is the management of your overwhelm with how you're running it all? Like, is it bad at an 8? Can you get it down to a 2? Another great KPI for you and the team is this. I learned this when I was learning under EO, like one of the masters of EO. And when we started a business accelerator, we had 17 companies underneath us. And they said the first thing to measure without any explanation is this. How do you feel on a scale from 1 to 10 on the 3 following things? How do you feel personally on a scale from 1 to 10? How do you feel about your family on a scale from 1 to 10? And how do you feel about your job on a 1 to 10? Think about those emotions and being able to measure that KPI and just having awareness. For example, how many times have we been in a team that I've noticed when someone reports that their personal life might be a 1 or 2? Wouldn't that be nice to know, even if they don't want to explain it, so that you and the team can wrap around them to say, well, how can we support you this week while you're in this? Because you know what? People are going to have pets that are going to die, friends that are going to die. They're going to go through breakups. They're going to go through things. It's important to know the emotional KPIs of yourself and the team in addition to the financial ones. In addition to, they're both very important, right? So it doesn't get measured, doesn't get managed. And I want to stretch you into thinking what those KPIs need to be done. If you need help implementing the KPIs, it is insane how easy it is. It is crazy that people don't track it. You put it on a weekly tracker, you see and feel the trends. All of a sudden, everything's getting measured. And what happens is this radical accountability for the role and support. And then people can just go run their own job. And then you get to see how people are feeling and how the business is feeling financially and emotionally, right? If it matters, you get to track it. And because things like productivity and your time freedom and how you're measuring things, key measures of productivity are this, like how overwhelmed are you on a scale from 1 to 10 with managing it all, right? How is your time freedom? How is your actual number of hours off per week? How do you feel when you or your team member leaves the business and that things are running well without you? What is the sales per employee hour? What is the gross profit per employee hour? That holds me accountable when I come in, that I can prove that your productivity is increasing. Because even if you can put in a 10 to 20% increase in productivity, you can 3 to 5x the bottom line. You can literally go from just number saking, going from, let's say, each employee is putting in an average of like X amount of hours and productivity is $100 per employee hour. You bring that to like an extra $120 per employee hour. That is massive increases in the bottom line. Massive that's there. And how do they feel about it? So in summary, your KPI review, and it just goes like that. You're like, Shannon, what's your role? Marketing, great. This, and that. What's the trends? Awesome. What's going on? Great. And in that, you can also talk about the barriers and issues. And this is where it's awesome because no one person has all the right answers. It's nice when you got, whether if it's 2 people, 5, 10, or 20 people, where you can actually mastermind your barriers and issues. It is so easy to do that. So easy to mastermind your barriers and issues because this person might have this connection for the answer. This person might have done this before. They have that skill set. When you have the barriers and issues and you can bring it to the forefront, it gets solved at like 10 to 20 to 50x the speed. So make sure you're bringing those to the table. And what are you up against that you're not doing those forward? So at point 4, what we're looking is, hey, everyone has different language around this. What are the big goals? What are the big rocks? What's the top 3 to thrive? What are we actually doing again? Like, what are our top 1 to 3 priorities and what you're actually driving forward? And what area are you responsible for? That's huge, right? And then what are you committed to this week to actually move that forward? What's interesting about this is when you get a personal declaration to a group and they're talking about what they're committed to move it forward, it's called accountability. This is why people need to hire people who actually have the results and what they're looking for. It's all accountability and support. It's all accountability and support. If you took 100 people and you split it 50-50 and 50 of the people simply paid someone and made their records public on what they're doing for the accountability and support, the 50 people who are paying for accountability and support will blow away, absolutely blow away the people who don't, meaning the return on investment will be much bigger too. So isn't it funny that the people who are trying to be free with their tips and tricks and all these things, if they just paid for the person who has the results that they're looking for, and they paid that person, they would collapse decades into days. They would get the thing back, which you'll never get back is your time, right? Then they'll have the return on investment for their money and their time, and they'll just fly past the people who don't pay for it. Like, it's crazy. And it really drives that commitment. So in this moment, you can ask us anything. This is what we're here for too. So you can drop in comments. Let me go back to actually watching them. So drop in any comment to ask us anything, and I will answer it right on the lives. And if I can't at this time, I will use it for future videos that you can go and do. So that last part, okay, so what are you committed to this week to move it forward? It gives you public accountability. It gives you reiteration. It gives things that are there. Also, the last part is, man, do I hate meetings. Like, can I get a hell yeah if you hate meetings? Especially boring meetings that you're not valuable. Maybe you're not bringing value to the meeting, or the meeting isn't bringing any value to you, right? How can you rate the meeting on a scale from 1 to 10 and what worked and what didn't work? Because otherwise, if the meeting isn't providing value to you, there's no reason for you to be there, or vice versa. That's for it. So in summary, by having this weekly check-in template, and if you want it, follow, drop me a DM. I'll send the full actual templates and what questions might you actually have there. Because you got to have a weekly check-in if you and the team are going to stay current, clear, and themes. And you got to have all this stuff in your business out of your head into a simple system with clear checklists so that you free up all your time and mental energy and how to run it. You get out of the head into a simple set of tools. You get clear best practices and agreements. You know what to do and how often you keep it together. That is the ticket to your freedom and your adaptability and your scalability as a business, as an entrepreneur, as a small business team, as a successful professional who cares about it. That's big.